What's up guys, it's Fi here, and today we're going to be having a look at Varus in his commentary. Now if you followed my commentaries before, you know I always have a kind of point or a reason as to why I showcase the games, and in this case it's going to be how you push that early advantage, actually turn it into a win. I get a lot of messages saying like, I win the lane but I can't really ever win games, and so hopefully this will show you how to strangle your enemies out of gold and just take objectives and push a win. So the first thing I want to say is actually my birthday today, but I decided that, you know, I've got my priorities straight. I make videos first before I celebrate my birthday. So I guess the first thing I want to talk about is the matchup. So Varus into Ezreal is pretty much just a skill matchup. Like in an extended fight, Varus is going to win because he has his W, his blight stacks, and so you can proc them over and over again. In short trades, however, like poking, it's going to go to Ezreal because he has a Sona as well. It actually makes it very difficult to trade with the Sona Ezreal lane because Ezreal will just poke you, and if you fully engage, you'll probably go even-ish. Maybe you'll slightly win, but then Sona's going to heal it up. So it makes it very difficult. It means you're just probably going to have to farm unless you really get a solid early advantage. So you can see with Varus, what I'm actually trying to do is I'm trying to get level 2 first, which is why I'm like slightly pushing the wave. Now the reason I'm trying to get level 2 is because Ezreal's pretty weak level 1, and Sona is like incredibly squishy level 1. It means that because Varus is kind of a bursty champion with his abilities, you can actually pretty much just get a kill very early. You can see I'm already going into Sona. I picked up my E and my Q already, and I'm going to actually rewind that because you can't actually see it, but yeah, I'm going to focus onto Sona very quickly, and you can actually see that I aim my arrow to get her. Now the reason I aim my arrow to get her is because she thinks I'm going straight for Ezreal. She actually stayed like only slightly in range of my Q. It was actually a max range, but I thought I'll try my luck. I'll aim it through Ezreal and into Sona and see if I can pick up the extra kill. That's just probably this foresight. Like, I'm a little bit cocky in this elo because this is like platinum, I think. So I know I'm probably better than the players I'm playing against, so I'm just going to be a bit flashy and show off. Not normally the thing you want to do. You should just try to secure the kill on the AD, but you know, why not? So the rest of this lane is just going to be pretty like standard. I picked up a Vamp Scepter very first, and the reason I picked up a Vamp Scepter is because when you're playing against Sona, you really either want to counter it with huge damage where you kill her, or you want to counter it with a Vamp Scepter so that you can lifesteal to sustain and match her heal. If you match her heal, it makes it very difficult for her to actually out heal your harass and just like bully you out of lane that way. Like if you don't have a Vamp Scepter, then Sona can just auto win the lane by healing up every time you trade, and eventually you're going to lose the sustain war. So that's the reason I picked up the Vamp Scepter. I'm actually going to go Bloodthirster. And my favourite build on Varus at the moment is Bloodthirster into Last Whisper and then into Infinity Edge, so the Legolas build, which is basically just huge AD for your Q. It means you can poke really well. And if you play it right with your passive and you can attack move, then you don't actually need the attack speed as much as other characters. So I'm going to pause it here because this is where we kind of start to snowball. Now, I'm actually really far ahead and I've been poking Ezreal and Sona. So what I've said to them is, come, like to the Nasus, come down and help me dive him. Unfortunately though, Nasus actually was caught on a ward somewhere and ends up dying. So that's not the best start, I guess, for that. But I say to Nasus, just come back, try it again. It doesn't matter that you failed the first time. Like, that was just unlucky. Let's just do it again. Now you can see Shen comes in on this port. We actually dived. Sorry, I skipped that a little bit too quickly here. But Shen ported in. Nasus is going to come here and we're going to try and pick something up. And we're actually really strong, and Nasus with his ultimate as well. Now straight after this is where I make another call. So in this game I'm just trying to focus on every call I make. And I said, let's take Dragon. I'm really strong right now. Ezreal hasn't even gone back yet. And so let's just try and pick up this kill. Now Mumu is level 6. We have to be afraid of the ultimate. So you can see we ping, we actually turn and trade onto them. And then I leave the Dragon here, which is a little bit of a mistake. Like, I should really just finish off the Drake because it's the best thing to do here. Like, get the objective. And we can see actually I leave the other two to pretty much die. Nasus unfortunately dies, but I pick up that kill. I'm already unstoppable. It's 11 minutes into this game. I'm 5-0, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I've also got CS lead onto Ezreal. Now this is a point where I'm really going to start to talk about how you can then push that advantage. And the first thing is just what I did there. You can see that I pushed the wave into the turret. I'm trying to deny as much CS as possible to Ezreal. Now the reason I'm trying to do this is because I really just want to shut Ez down. If I can shut him down with my lead, then it means that I actually have completed my job. Like, I'm fed now, so apart from just winning lane, which I've already done, I need to do something with it. I have double bust. I'm a bad player, so I missed my ultimate, which is pretty sad, but thankfully Thresh lands his. I know that I can probably kill him before the Shen actually arrives, and so we managed to get that. Now that's just basically knowing my damage and knowing that I'm really fed at the moment because I have my Bloodthirster, that I'm going to be able to kill him before Shen arrives. So that's one of the ways that you want to snowball the game. The first way is objectives, and I've said that already. We've got the tower and we've got the dragon. Now the second way is actually knowing your champion and knowing your exact limits. If you know how much damage you can output, then you can really have that huge impact that you want to have, because you know that with that huge advantage that you have, you know exactly how much you can get away with, and you can kind of be cheeky with it. Like if I didn't play Varus a lot, I probably wouldn't pick up that Ezreal kill, so I would still only be 5 for 0. Now because I do play him a lot, I know that I have enough damage. I put my ultimate onto him here, which I finally actually hit. So I can't hit the one where he's point blank, but I do manage to hit the blind one into the brush. So now we're just playing mind games with them. Thresh has picked up the pink, which I asked him to get in chat so that we can just have complete control of the vision, and now we're pushing the second in the turret. Now the reason we've actually got this turret is because no one has an answer for me at the moment. I'm so far ahead that if anyone comes to stop me, I can pretty much just kill them. Now we're going to rotate mid lane to try and pick up this kill as well. We managed to get that one, and now we're going to try and take this turret. So you can see we're just running around as much as possible. I'm going to pause this here. Now I make a mistake there, unfortunately, which why it doesn't go too well is that I actually engaged with my ultimate into the enemy team, so I actually got aggro like under turret, whereas if I just waited for someone else to take the aggro, then I would have been able to output like a huge amount of damage. Now the reason that I took it, I think, was because Thresh missed his hook, so I assumed that was going to take the aggro, but it didn't. But in reality what I should have done is just stayed right at the back. I got a little bit cocky there, but we're still pushing fights, and even going 2 for 2 in this situation is actually good for us because it means we're putting ourselves further and further ahead. Like the more we group, the more it means that they have to group to counter us. Now what that means is that only like one lane farm is getting farmed, if that makes sense. So only the CS in the mid lane is getting farmed. Everything else is not being used, and so that means that we're only getting one lane, but they're only getting one lane, and it means they're not farming their way back into the game. Now unfortunately I go bot lane and my team decides to engage, so I'm going to slow it down here. I ultimate onto Shen to root him in place. That's going to get Ezreal as well, so I switch focus to Ezreal while he's rooted and try and pick up that kill. I'm then going to turn onto Sona because Shen's actually not doing any damage to me. Like most people would say, why are you focusing Sona? But Sona's a very squishy target. I aim onto my Q onto them as they're running away, and thankfully they actually group up. You can see my Bloodthirster's coming in here, and I'm actually kiting Amumu around. Unfortunately, I don't have my flash up, so it means I couldn't flash the E from Lux, but I managed to pick up the quadra kill. Lux actually mops that up, so that wasn't too good for us, and that was pretty much just because, like, this is the other thing I wanted to mention in this game actually, which I haven't talked about already, is that I have every kill on this team. Like, everyone else on my team is pretty weak. Like, Lux is 9 and 2. And Gragas is 2 for 3. Like, Riven is 0 for 4. Nasus is 2 for 4. So even though we've actually got global objectives, you can see that, like, gold wise, let's have a look. Like, Lux is 7.1 and Gragas has 6.3. Now considering there's a 7 kill difference there, that like 800 gold difference isn't actually that bad, and that's pretty much just from all the towers that we've secured with my lead and all of the dragons that we've secured as well. Now you can see that one good thing, that the reason that I like playing Varus so much is because of that ultimate. Like, I just caught out Ezreal there. We pick up another kill from Amumu when he comes in to try and save Ezreal, and those two were pretty much just because they got caught. It's like an Ashe arrow but short range obviously, so the reason Ashe is so good is because you can, in solo queue even, is because you can just catch people off guard when they are making dumb mistakes and when they're too far forward. Varus is pretty much the same job. It's just obviously short range, so people are way too close. You can see I'm pinging on here. You see how many pings I actually launched off there just to get these guys to engage. Now the problem is at this moment in time is that I'm really fed, but the rest of my team kind of isn't. So like, it's very difficult. If I get caught and if I have bad positioning, then we are going to lose the fight, because my team probably, like, their team is probably stronger 4v4 without me. and so I have to be very careful as to position properly. You can see I'm just using my red buff and I'm just attack moving now, and we're just pushing advantage again. You can see this is what I was talking about earlier, where we're just constantly fighting. Like, we're not letting them farm their way back into the game. All the farm counts in this game are relatively low. Mine is kind of high, but that's because I'm taking all of the farm from the mid lane. And this is what I was saying about just channeling all the farm into one lane. Now, because of that, people aren't getting back into the game. Like, Ezreal still doesn't have his Triforce, whereas I have 3 items. And this is really the point that I wanted to make in this game. Like, if you sit back and do nothing, like if I had just taken my 5 kills and gone, well, I've won lane now, I don't have to do anything, like that wouldn't have been enough, because Ezreal would have come back into this game. He would have had his Triforce. That's where he hits his power spike. We're now 23 minutes into the game and Ezreal still hasn't hit that power spike, and the reason he hasn't hit it is because we're constantly pressuring and we're constantly forcing fights. If you group early and you push while you have an advantage, it means that the other team has to group or they give up objectives, and that kind of allows them or denies them the farm. This was a really risky call and is one I definitely did not make, but we see we catch Ezreal here with my ultimate again. I'm going to slow it down for this team fight. Now, because I don't have attack speed, I'm not the best person to be shredding tanks, but I still do a lot of damage like with my auto attacks. But the thing I don't do is like a ton of damage, like sustained damage. And this is where I'm going to talk about Varus' build very quickly as well. Like, Nasus has no damage. I don't know what he is doing, but he's not going to get that kill. But there's 2 different builds on Varus that you can go. You can either go the Legolas build, which is like the one I've gone now, where you just get huge amounts of AD. I'm out at this point. Like, I'm going to snipe it with my Q because I am a scumbag. Now, this is the thing. Like, you kind of, at this point, you should really spread out the kills. And the only reason I'm not is because this is a platinum game. If I was at Diamond Elo right now, I would not be taking any more kills because they would be focusing me down pretty hard and I wouldn't be able to do anything. Like, I need the gold to be spread out now, but I'm a bit of a dick, so I don't. Anyway, with the build, so you can either have this Legolas build where you just stack AD, and at this point I'll probably get a Shiv afterwards, so I'm all about burst damage. I'm pretty much playing like Varus like Graves, so I just want huge amounts of burst so that if a squishy jumps onto me, then I can instantly blow them up. The other thing to note as well is this is a really good build when you're ahead, because defensive items take time to build, and if people just stack defensive items, they do no damage. So people always stack damage first, and then they get defense. Now, when people have no defense, like flat AD works really well because like they have no armor, so you're just doing like 30-40% of someone's health in every arrow, which is completely ridiculous. Like, no one can engage on you because you poke them down first, or if you don't poke them down, then you root them, you land a max range or max charge Q, and all of a sudden like half the health is gone. Now, the other build that you can go is just the kind of sustained damage with your auto attacks build. Now, not many people actually use this anymore because this flavor of the month build is the Legolas build, but it's actually really good against very tanky teams or when you're behind. Now, the best build probably, in my opinion anyway, is going to be the Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper combination. I don't like Blade of the Ruined King anymore. I'm going to stop talking about this while we fight here. You can see Amumu's actually jumped through. He did get the blue buff still, but hopefully we can catch him down here. I can't actually remember what happens. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're going to get anything from this. It's very risky face checking a Lux. But you can see Lux actually ran the wrong way, which is why I'm pinging her now. Because she ran like the silly way, I'm going to call it, around the left hand side, it meant that she died for it. And the tower's like trolling me here. I was trying to work out exactly why I got aggro 3 times there, but every time I went back into tower range, the turret decided to attack me rather than anyone else. You can see Shen got a bit greedy here. The thing with Shen is, okay, so I flashed there because I thought I could pick up the Amumu kill, but unfortunately I don't. The thing with Shen's build is that he's stacked purely to stop me, which is pretty clever because obviously I'm 18 for 1. But the thing is that Gragas is doing true damage with his Void stuff. I don't necessarily like building Void stuff with no AP, but what it does mean is that he's completely shredding Shen or everyone on their team because they haven't built any MR to stop him. They've just built armor to stop me. So it means that he's pretty much just doing true damage to people and he's shredding them completely. Anyway, as I was saying, the sustained damage build is Infinity Edge into Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, and then Bloodthirster. Blade of the Ruined King isn't as good on Varus anymore because you still want damage to do your abilities. Bather and King does not help your ability damage like at all, so it's very risky to kind of build it. You're just purely going to be using it for like dueling potential, and Varus is a good dueler anyway, so there's not really much point in building that in my opinion. You can see I saw Lux there, and Lux has good potential to steal. Nasus isn't a great smiter because he has no nuke with it. Like someone like Elise is very safe. Like you see in the Worlds, when the Chinese teams are taking Baron and they're actually going 50-50, or it's called 50-50 because there's a 50% chance the enemy's going to smite it. With Elise, it's very difficult to outsmite her because she has the execute damage on her Q and she can smite, which means she has like about 1400 damage smite if she puts it properly. And obviously pro players are going to do it properly. Now with Nasus, he can Q it maybe, so that's like what, 1000 damage at this level. But that's not really enough to, like, Lux's damage is way more than that. So if Lux manages to actually get her combo off, she's gonna steal the dragon, which is why I like instantly went for her and ultimate her, keep her in place, managed to kill her while we weren't actually doing anything. Now the other thing I'm going to talk about as well is my defensive item. I've actually built a Spirit Visage this game. Now Spirit Visage isn't as good as Banshees when you're against AP teams because it's not a big ticket item anymore since they nerfed it. So what I mean by big ticket items, I mean, one second, I'm just going to break out. This is actually a really good flash taunt by Shen, and I really didn't expect it coming. Like, it's caught me completely off guard. And I remember this flash taunt, like, so well because I actually said well played to him in all chat afterwards because this was like the last ditch effort by them. But normally, part of AD is prediction. So normally I have very good foresight. I can see what is coming at every stage in the game, and it's a really important part of playing AD. But this time I didn't see that coming like at all. He completely caught me off guard there because he came in from the side out of vision and then just instantly did it without any hesitation. That was a really good play by him. Now, as I was saying with the Spirit Visage, the reason I got it was because I'm so far ahead and they don't have any defensive items, so I just want to stack even more AD and blow up their squishies even more. So my plan, even though this game is over, was to get a Bloodthirster again instead of any attack speed. And so when you're getting 2 Bloodthirsters, that's a ton of Lifesteal, and you combine that with the Spirit Visage passive, that actually means you're going to sustain like a lot. They don't really have any burst damage, and I'm confident in my ability to dodge the Lux damage. So that means that I can just sustain through anything that Shen throws onto me and Amumu. There's no way. Amumu had Thornmail as well, so it means that he does damage back to me with that Thornmail, and the Lifesteal is the way to counter Thornmail. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and if you did, please do leave a like and also subscribe. Now you can also like me on Facebook, follow my Twitter, and I will catch you in my next video.